Hey everybody. So this particular clip is on life coaching, and specifically with people that have been victimized or in abusive situations with narcissistic abuse, drug and alcohol abuse, people that have been financially abused, people that have been physically abused, emotionally abused. So this particular content that I'm about to talk about is specifically for that audience. So if you're not in that audience, it doesn't apply to you. What I offer is I offer life coaching to people that have experienced firsthand, either in the past or currently right now, where they are in an abusive relationship. They are currently or in the past have been in a toxic relationship. These relationships can be with a spouse, a fiance, a boyfriend, a friend, a relative, a daughter, a son. It can take many forms, okay? But what I'm going to share specifically is what a typical life coaching session consists of. So I'm going to pause here and enjoy this tree stump for a moment. So when you are investigating the possibility to talk to someone such as myself on a life coaching call, generally speaking, I'm going to ask you in the scheduling portion to think a minute and select 1 to 3 current problems or current obstacles that you have going on in your life, okay? So, for example, let's say that you are currently in a toxic relationship with someone who is lying to you. You know something is off. You're not quite sure. Maybe you haven't even identified them as a narcissist. Maybe you don't really even understand the behavior. You're just starting to pay attention and notice that something is off and that this person's behavior is unkind. Like, it used to be kind, but all of a sudden it's very unkind. And they're not being consistent in their behavior. They're lying to you or appearing that they're lying to you. And their stories don't match up. So let's say that you're in that particular situation and that is the topic that you want to talk about. So when you get on the call with me, I'm going to ask for you to give me some of the summary or the story of what's currently going on, okay? And let's say that the person that is the client in this situation is sharing with me that they are in this current relationship and they're noticing that the words and the actions of their husband or fiance are not matching up. Something's off. And they notice that, money is missing, they're hiding receipts, they're not showing up as agreed, or showing up late, or not showing or calling at all. And the signs are kind of there, but because they're so busy, this woman is so busy with managing her own life, her own job, her childcare, her after work community projects that she's involved in with the church, or the fact that maybe she's going to school in the evening. Like, the woman is so maxed out with the responsibilities and the tasks of her own life that it's her busyness that many times she's not fully aware of the little small details because she's so busy. And as she tells her story, I'm going to ask her a bunch of questions. I'm going to ask her, specific questions to get deeper answers in regards to like the specifics of her situation. And as we gather these details together and I start asking these questions, she's going to start to wake up. She's going to start to be like, oh, wow, I didn't consider that. Wow, you make a very interesting point. Wow, I need to write that down. I need to pay attention to this going forward. And then after these details are shared, I'm going to ask her, what is the ultimate goal that you would like to receive, like right now? Like, what would make your situation better if you were able to achieve that goal right now? And maybe her answer is that she just wants to know whether or not there is, some kind of cheating going on. Maybe there is some kind of financial betrayal that she wants an answer to because she has a suspicion, but at this point she doesn't know. Then there are going to be certain questions that I'm going to, again, further ask, and then I'm going to lead her to investigate certain resources. And then she is going to have homework to complete so that by the next time that we, get together for our next scheduled call, she will need to have done her homework, to have investigated these resources, and then to have gathered additional information, whether or not she's on the right track, if she was way off, or what the feedback was from her fiance or her husband, So there's these variables that are going to come into play. And then we're going to talk about, after some of this information is read, then there's going to be a conversation about how to deal with the emotions around what was found. And that can be creating an escape plan. That can be creating a trap to provide evidence and proof going forward that she's keeping to herself. She's not announcing to the person that's taking advantage of her. That person, she's not going, hey, I'm talking to a life coach and the life coach told me to ask you. No, that's not what I said. I am preparing the person who is being victimized to start to take self-care over her own emotions, her own physical body and environment, and her financial status, and start to make documentation so that she can then assess the situation. And she's going to be implementing certain strategies and following certain instructions in order to protect herself, her children, her home, her money. Because many times people that are in a narcissistic relationship, or a relationship with a drug addict in active addiction, or a relationship with an alcoholic in active addiction, or a relationship with a gambler in active addiction, or a relationship with someone who is just a plain liar and cheater, there are certain things that start to show up as patterns. But because we are so in the love bomb, we're so in the, I love this guy, he treats me this way and he's been so good to me, we're looking at all the past things that were good that he did for us, for our family, and we're looking at that good. But we can't keep our focus on the past of what he did in the past, because if our present is falling apart and there is incongruent parties, there are lies, there are non-integrity, that means that there are untruths, there's hidden information, and that person is not being 100%, meaning the guy in this situation, okay? So therefore, the woman is going to have to learn to keep her mouth shut and gather evidence. And she is going to have to learn to choose her battles wisely as she creates her escape plan. And my job as a life coach during this situation is to provide counsel, to be a listening person who listens to all the details, asks questions, and then encourages the woman that is in this conflictive, toxic relationship to make better choices and ask her, what do you want to do in this situation? What would benefit you the most? What would be most helpful to you right now? And then to start helping her to guide her attention on focusing on achieving those tasks. And then I become an accountability partner. Like, did you do what you said you were going to do? No, you didn't do that. Okay, why not? What are your excuses of why you're not taking care of yourself and your family and your finances? Why didn't you do your homework? Like, I'm not here to be the bad guy. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm just trying to help you figure out why you have these blocks and obstacles, because I want you to move through the blocks and obstacles so you get on the other side so that you can have success, you can have victory, so that you can create a life that you love that is not enstrangled and entangled and enmeshed with a toxic person that is bringing and dragging you down. Okay. Now, why do I know what I'm talking about? Because I've been there. Because I know what the signs are. I know what the excuses are. I know what the lies look like. I know what the receipts look like. I know what to look for now, in retrospect. Years ago, when it was happening to me, I was as clueless as you are right now. Believe me, I was clueless, because there was such a huge amount of goodness and positive, things that my fiance had done for me that made me believe that he was such a great guy. But the reality is that is the cover. That is the covert narcissist. That is what the drug addict and active addiction wants you to believe. They want you to believe that they're clean and sober when they're not. They want you to believe that they're going to a job when they're not. They want you to believe that they're handling all the finances and you don't have anything to worry about, baby. I got it. I got you. I got you. When they're deleting all of your savings and they're hiding it and blocking it with fake bank things that show you have a balance when that's not the balance that you have at all. And meanwhile, you're thinking that they're being honest and sending you a screenshot and that they're handling things. And in reality, you got 38 cents in your accounts, ladies. Please don't fall into the same trap that I fell into. I'm trying to help you so you don't. But there are certain classic signs that these toxic, narcissistic men that are in active drug addiction or active alcohol addiction or active gambling addiction or active lying, cheating, sexual immorality addiction are playing games on you. And until you understand what they're doing to you and decipher what's going on, you're so busy with your life because you haven't allowed any quiet time or unscheduled time, because you've got too many things on your plate. So you've got to slow down, pay attention, and slowly start to take action on these instructions and on these resources so that you come to an understanding of where you really currently are right now, so that you can create plans of action that will help you to get out of the current situation, and action plans to plan to get you in a future that is going to give you a solid foundation where you have victory for yourself, your family, and the current into future lifestyle and future you that you want to be living. So if any of that sounds like you're in that place where you're in a current time zone of having in the midst of a toxic relationship, or maybe you ended the relationship with that narcissist and they're still calling you and texting you, you need to put this thing on your phone called block and just stop answering the phone. Stop texting them. Stop getting involved. You need to go no contact. There are certain procedures, like I said, that are going to help you along the way. But I know you love them. I know, I've been there. But some of these things are really necessary in order for you to break free and in order for you to reclaim your life and move forward. So if any of this sounds like you could really benefit from this type of support, Or perhaps you're hearing this and you're like, oh my gosh, my best friend is so in this wrong relationship. I keep telling her, but she's not listening. Please, copy this link, send this video to them, and invite them to participate in a free life coaching call where we can discover whether or not it's a good fit between us to move forward. And if it is, great, I'll share the details. Many people get into a coaching monthly program, or they schedule so many sessions, and it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, a year, whatever. It all depends on what type of situation you're in and the complexity of what we need to do to help you, procure safety and security for your future. And of course, financial savviness and self-care for your physical health and well-being and for your family. So if you're interested, please comment below info, INFO, and I will send you more information and a scheduling link so that you can schedule a one-on-one with me. I've been doing this for many years in the wellness, fitness categories as a yoga coach, a Pilates coach, a fitness coach, a health coach, and now in this realm of relationships. And as I've been through this myself, witnessed other people go through it, and helped several people as well, I am here for you when you are ready. So the invitation's there. You need to take action to set it up, and we'll get started. Have a good one.